Hello there, welcome to Mr. Bongo, and I'm back with my new video after a short hiatus. So, in this video, I will try to describe my experience of my road trip from Bangalore to Kolkata on my Royal Enfield Thunderbird 350X. A lot of you have seen similar videos on YouTube. Some of them have been very detailed, while some have given you an idea in a nutshell. So all I'm going to do in this video is try to be as much detailed as possible and share my experience of my days of travel. So you could gather your knowledge about this route and decide whether you want to take this leap or not. So without further ado, let's get going. It all started with finding two chaps who were crazy enough to embark on this adventure with me. We decided that we would start on the morning of the 2nd of October, and accordingly, I reached the meeting point at around 4:45 in the morning. Soon we hit the highway. The morning was pleasant, the tarmac was amazing, and the terrains were changing fast. It was a beautiful day to ride. We crossed over to Andhra Pradesh, and let me tell you guys, there were no check-ins at the border. In another hour, we reached our breakfast joint, Highway Lounge, near Anantapur by 9:30 in the morning. With the hunger gone and having recharged ourselves with a nice warm mug of coffee, we started again. The road was so good that I could consistently ride between 85 to 90 kilometers per hour. In fact, that's true for the whole of day one, barring some diversions near Kurnool. And trust me, guys, I could literally count 15 potholes in the entire stretch of Hyderabad, and majority of them small ones. Can you believe it? We stopped for tea in between, and later, around 3 p.m. or so, we stopped for lunch at Rainbow Continental Stop and Go Food Plaza. Finally, we reached our hotel, Radisson Blu, in Hyderabad at 6:30 p.m. and called it a day. The day ended with savoring amazing biryani from Paradise. The plan for day two was to reach Vizag. The Hyderabad-Vijayawada highway was silk smooth except for the stretch I mentioned on the screen right now. I could maintain a speed of around 90 km per hour until Vijayawada. At the Telangana-Andhra border, the police stopped us to inquire if we were carrying booze. Rest, they were very impressed by our plan to reach Kolkata on a bike. We lost a bit of coordination later. Google asked me to take the Vijayawada bypass and I blindly followed. What a mistake, guys. The ordeal that followed was a super bumpy ride all through the traffic of Vijayawada. Lesson: never ever leave NH16, even if God insists. The wheels started rolling after lunch at Garuda food court, so I kept on following Google and landed Baker's Soup now. It took me through some state highway. Horrible is an understatement for the roads. The only upside was a nice stream flowing along the highway. I was still off NH16 and entered Rajahmundry. It was about 3. The sky was a bit overcast, and it was oh so beautiful. I kept on crossing the bridges over Godavari, soaking in the beauty. It was drizzling, and I was absolutely loving it. I was almost entering Dowleshwaram Bridge when it started to rain moderately. I put on my rain covers and decided to move again. 200 meters into the bridge, my bike Gulab was stalled. Try whatever you can, but she would just refuse to start. By now, it started pouring heavily. The winds were strong, and there were lightning strikes every now and then. I waved for help. No one stopped. All drenched, I kept on pushing my bike, but you know how difficult it is to push a Royal Enfield bike. Honestly, guys, I thought this is it. I would not be able to smell afterwards again, and I was shit scared. Finally, when the skies started getting clear, I could gather the courage to call my co-rider, who came to my help. It was already 5. The third guy, who was in a car, didn't leave NH16 and was quite far from me. After some more suffering, the roadside accident guys came and fixed the bike, so-called. It was 7. We decided to move again, and Vizag was still a far cry. But wait, the rain got out of the plans, of course. We started rolling, and again it started heavily, and it was one of the worst downpour I have seen in my life. I quickly took shelter, and when the rain stopped, Gulabu won't start again. After some more attempt, I could start her on choke. Literally begged the RSA guy to send a mechanic again. By this time, we had decided to spend the night at Rajahmundry. A mechanic came to the hotel, and it was a saving grace. Finally, So he took a good look at the bike and said that it was an airlock which stalled the bike. I thanked my stars for the horrible day being over. The thought of covering 600 plus kilometers amidst the forecast of heavy rains was pretty haunting for day 3. It was a compulsion for the two of us to reach Bhubaneswar and reunite with our third member who had already reached Vizag last night. We started riding at 6 under overcast conditions. Fortunately, the highway was amazing till Vizag and we crossed Vizag by 10. I must highlight here that there are very less food options in this stretch. In fact, all the way till Bhubaneswar. So if you're planning to do this route, please plan to eat at Vizag. After Vizag, there were a lot of diversions, but overall the road quality was good. By 4, we entered Odisha, and again there was no checking at the border. It was just about dusk when we were crossing Chilika, and it was mesmerizing. I wished I could take a detour, but we had a mission to accomplish. Soon it got dark, and the quality of roads started to worsen. Add to that, plenty of diversions, wrong side driving, dogs, cattle, cows on the pitch dark roads, and it was a nightmare to ride. Please be careful on this stretch, guys. The entire stretch of Orissa was like this, okay? So finally our struggle ended with reaching Bhubaneswar around 9 p.m. On day 4, I would say day 4 was pretty uneventful. We started the last leg of the journey a bit late, around 8 a.m. I was personally happy that I was almost pulling this off and only the last 500 kilometers were now left. Horrible roads, cattle and dogs, wrong side driving continued throughout Odisha and I could barely go beyond 75 kilometers per hour. From Jaleshwar, the roads started improving and the stretches in Bengal were quite good. Unfortunately, there was again dearth of food options throughout the stretch and by the time I reached Kolaghat, the urge of reaching home overtook the urge of eating deliciously. I was home at 7 p.m. finally where Gharwali chai and mutton kosha in dinner was waiting for me. So finally, coming to the recommendations, whether you should do this trip. If you ask me, hell yes. Such trips change the person in you. You appreciate life more and realize you can live with so much less. Unless you were too adamant on riding solo, you should plan this at least with another person. Another major consideration is the time of the year. October isn't the best time, I'd say, and the on and off rains could be pretty annoying. Also, it's the time of the returning monsoon, so you could just get lashed at like me. I plan to test this out, but in my opinion, winters could be a good time to ride this route. Rest, plan your food stops wisely, and you should be good. That's all for now, guys. I hope you found this video useful. Until next time, take care and ride safe.